Well, hey everybody, Merry Christmas. Here at the Eads house, all of the Christmas decorations are up and we're beginning to think about and celebrate the coming of Messiah, the gift of God in the flesh come for us. We draw a lot of life out of the book of Isaiah, so these stories, these narratives, these promises of God coming to us as Emmanuel, God with us. So I hope you're going to join us all this week, 6 minutes every weekday, as we spend some time in the book of Isaiah to see the relevance for our life right here, right now, as we make room for God. So grab your physical Bible, go to Isaiah chapter 11, and let's hang out together for these next few minutes and make room for God. Come on with us. Just a couple of months ago, we had some dead trees in our yard we wanted to get rid of. So we did what anybody would do, is we cut them down. But here's something I noticed. Just a good 6 or 8 weeks later, there's already some shoots that are beginning to grow up around the edge of this stump. We're gonna have to stay on top of this come springtime, or what's gonna happen pretty quickly is a tree is gonna grow right back where we don't really want one. It doesn't surprise me. A few months back, the power company came to work on these power lines that are along our creek, and the trees had gotten a little close to them, so they came and they cut them all back, and boy, they made a mess. They didn't pick up after themselves. We had to haul everything up to the wood pile. But something I noticed is just within a few months, there's more tree growing right back out of the stump where they cut it down. Friends, this is what happens with this thing that God created called life. That as God creates things, He creates them to be full of life. And even when things are cut down or where they're destroyed, God is bringing new life back out of them. This is part of the promise of Messiah that we find at Christmas time. The book of Isaiah promises over and over the identity of Messiah, who's going to come and bring new life to us. John chapter 1 verse 4 speaks of the Messiah and says that in him was life, and his life was the light of man. Do you have Isaiah chapter 11 open? Look at this prophecy about coming Messiah. Verse 1, he says, "A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From his roots, a branch will bear fruit." What he's speaking of here is that the people of Israel had experienced a really terrible season, calamity. There had been war. They'd been carried away into captivity. And God is promising that even when you feel all the way cut down and destroyed, there is still, out of that place of destruction, going to come life. And he describes what this Messiah is going to do and be. In verse 2, he says, "The Spirit of the Lord will rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of power, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord." This Messiah is going to work out of that most broken place and bear life. It's exactly what Jesus promised to do. In John chapter 10, verse 10, he said, "I have come to give you life and give you life to the full." Ephesians 1 even tells us, the Apostle Paul says, the very same power that rose Jesus Christ from the dead is at work in you and me who believe. Now, sometimes, friends, we have a hard time believing this, don't we? When there's been places in our life where we feel cut down, where we think I've sinned too much, or there's just too much junk in my past, or there's too much damage that's been done. I have made too big of a mess of things. We look at circumstances. Maybe it's a lost career, or it's a broken relationship, or something that you really valued that you lost. And when all these things happen and we feel like our life is not what we wished it was, it takes an awful lot of faith to believe that out of that broken place, God can grow new life. But I hope, friends, that what you're going to do with me today is to put your faith, to exercise your faith in the God who restores, the God who redeems, the God who would say to Israel in their greatest broken spaces following that captivity in the 700s BC that Isaiah spoke of, that out of that stump, out of that cut down place, God is going to bear life. In Isaiah 43, he goes on and God says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing, and now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland. Friends, I hope you're going to give God more than 6 minutes today. And as you do, here's what I'd like to invite you to do, is to come along with me and pray. Exercise your faith. Believe in the work of God coming out of the broken places in your life. Whatever it is in your life that you feel ashamed of or broken by or disappointed in any of those spaces, believe, stand firm, stand upon God being the one who's going to grow new life out of that broken place. In the description down below in this video, you'll find some questions, some other verses that you can look to begin to contemplate and begin to pray. And I would encourage you to do that, to step out, pray boldly, and ask God to show you this new life that He's forming in you. You'll also find down below our website, mounthopelowden.org. That's mthopelowden.org. And I hope you'll journey with us all this week as we spend time in Isaiah, making room for God and finding Him, even in the most broken places in our journey. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll see you tomorrow on the Daily Six.